We're here on the third edition of Saturday Night's Main Event in the 2025 calendar year, where we kick things off with the men's Money in the Bank briefcase holder Seth Rollins versus the megastar LA Knight. LA Knight kicks things off with some stomps to the ribs of Seth Rollins, and he would then go for the megastar elbow, but Seth Rollins would move out of harm's way, and he would go for a pedigree in the middle of the ring. Referee is in position. 1, 2, but LA Knight kicks out at 2. Rollins not going for a stomp, but Knight catches the boots and goes for a DDT and spikes Rollins onto the mat. He then have him up for a superplex. It connects, but Rollins turns it into a Falcon Arrow. In the middle of the ring, referee in position for the count, but it is only a 2 count. Rollins going up to the top turnbuckle for a frog splash, but Knight moves just barely out of the way. Knight now puts the elbow to the dome of Rollins, goes to the middle turnbuckle, top turnbuckle, elbow drop to Seth freaking Rollins. But he only gets a 2 count. Knight is furious, sends him to the corner, but he bumps into the referee. He sends Rollins into the referee in the corner. Knight does not know what happened, so he calls Rollins up to his feet for a BFT. The referee is knocked out. Knight did not know that he was a reason for the referee being knocked out, but he realizes the referee's out, so he gets up, and that gives Rollins a chance to take him out with a jumping knee strike. Rollins then sends the referee to the outside of the ring to get Knight out with a stomp. Now Rollins is ready to call Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed to come out and help him out, but they're not coming out, and Rollins is furious, but we find out the reason why is because they're knocked out backstage. Braun Breaker and Reed are knocked out backstage, and it's by none other than the voice of the voiceless, CM Punk. Rollins is fuming, but he has to focus on the task in hand, which is none other than LA Knight going for a stomp, but Knight launches in midair and takes him out for a BFT. The referee is back in the ring to count the pinfall, slowly but surely counting the 3 count, and Knight is celebrating, but not all celebrations come with a happy ending. It's the hooded man, maybe the 5th member to Seth Rollins' division. We can't see his face as he dumps LA Knight to the outside of the ring. CM Punk is walking down the aisle to go face to face with this hooded man who's standing in the ring. Before he stops, because the man blows a kiss to CM Punk, mocking him. So CM Punk rushes down the ring to take him out, maybe a GTS, but no, he wiggles out of it some elbows and then takes him out with yet again the same move he did to LA Knight, a different variation of the Razor's Edge. So he just tosses him. He's not done just yet because he goes for it yet. Again, I think we all know who this is, because it's no other than All Ego Ethan Page. He's then showing some disrespect to CM Punk as he's sweeping his foot. Rollins was in as well as he sweeps his foot as well. These two men have absolutely no respect to anybody on this roster as they walk off as Ethan Page is a new member to Seth Rollins' division. This is the first time Seth Rollins went one-on-one with LA Knight in WWE. And the next match is no different because it's the first time Aleister Black and Damian Priest are going one-on-one. First time ever as Aleister Black is showing his mixed martial arts onto Damian Priest with a double foot stomp to the ribs, launches off the ropes with a meteora. And then lion salt to a standing Damian Priest. He then goes up to the top turnbuckle for a diving knee to the chest. No, because Priest moves and takes Aleister Black out with a jumping super kick to the face. He picks Aleister Black up for a elevated flatliner. 1, 2. Black kicks out at 2. Priest has him up onto his feet, maybe for a south of heaven, and Black counters with an elbow and puts some legs to the knee and then a knee to the dome, and then a black mass cover to Damian Priest. Priest kicks out at the last possible second. He's telling Aleister Black to feed him some strikes. Damian Priest is no-selling these strikes from Aleister Black. Priest then knocks him out with a spinning rolling thunder. He wants Aleister Black onto his feet for a South of Heaven's chokeslam, and it connects. But Black somehow, some way was able to get his shoulder up at the last second. He rolls to the outside of the ring, but he gets caught off of maneuvers to the outside of the ring, but he moves. Black gets into the ring for a somersault plancha to Damian Priest. Black then has him in the ring from kicks to the knees, and then has him in a submission maneuver of some sort, like a dragon sleeper, but the referee calls it off because it's a rope break. Aleister Black then gets Damian Priest up onto his feet with his boots to take him out of a black mass, and that's it. He defeats Damian Priest in his first premium live event. This match is the first time ever these two men went one-on-one in the WWE ring. The next match, they've been facing off multiple times in the pandemic era, and they go at it yet again, this time on Saturday night's main event in 2025. And they both go back and forth in the middle of the ring to kick things off in their match. This is Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre. McIntyre gets the better of him with a clothesline and then starts to work on his face with some boots to it. McIntyre is slowing things down with some strikes to the face of Randy Orton as well. He even gets him in the corner for some strikes to his head yet again, and then some boots to the ribs. He wants Orton onto his feet, and Orton does just that. He gets up immediately just to get knocked out of a Glasgow kiss. McIntyre backs up into the corner for a Claymore kick, and he gets all of it. He pins Randy Orton for the 1-2. No, Orton kicks out. McIntyre going immediately for the Kimura lock to make sure he keeps on the pressure on the Viper Randy Orton. Randy Orton rolls out of it though. He then gets fired up. It's vintage Randy Orton for clotheslines and the power slam. McIntyre gets up immediately for a boot, but Orton ducks it. He then tosses McIntyre to the ringside for maybe a draping DDT. Orton with the Atlanta, Georgia crowd behind him calling McIntyre up for an RKO. It connects. But McIntyre would kick out. Orton needs to keep on the pressure. He has McIntyre on the outside of the ring for a back bottom drop on the announcer table. He doesn't do it once. He does not do it twice. He does it 3 times. Will it be enough to be the 3 count though, as he has McIntyre in the ring for a cover? But no, it's only a 2 count. Orton now continuing the assault into Drew McIntyre. This time he's going even more vintage with some boots to each and every one of the limbs of Drew McIntyre. Orton now backing up in the corner. He's not going to do the same mistake like he did at Saudi Arabia, but he's going for the punt kick immediately. No hesitation. But McIntyre is wiped out. Orton does not know what to do. He's thinking of doing it yet again, but no, because the medical staff rushing down in the ring and the match is called off. Orton is furious. He takes out both the medical with an RKO. Even the referee for calling off the match. Randy Orton is furious about what just happened. He exits her ring, which is full of bodies. Next up is the Women's United States Championship match between contender Zelina Vega and champion Julia. This match kicks off as Zelina Vega immediately goes for some high-flying maneuvers like some DDTs and a moonsault. But it will only give her a near fall. Vega would then maybe go for her corner, but Julia is smart as she sidesteps it into the apron and locks her up in an armbar. She would then go to the top turnbuckle to launch a missile dropkick. But that will only give her a near fall as well. She goes for a superplex on the top turnbuckle, but Vega is able to get out of it with some strikes to the ribs and launching her back into the ring. She then has her to take her out to the outside of the ring to launch maybe a drop kick to the outside. But Julia moves out of harm's way and she goes crashing down on her spine. She then goes for a DDT on the outside of the ring. She has her back in the ring. But Zelina Vega gets up immediately to take her off a roll up. It's a rope break. And now Julia uses that to her advantage to surprise Zelina Vega off a roll up of her own, which gets a 2 count. Julia was about to steal a victory and retain her women's championship, but no. Zelina Vega has her up for a superplex from the top turnbuckle. No, because Julia gets her up a knee to the dome and then takes her out on the top turnbuckle. She then takes out Zelina Vega with a hammerlock Michinoku driver. And after that, she immediately goes for the Kamigoye, which is a knee right to the dome cover. But Zelina Vega somehow, someway, gets her shoulder up at the last possible second. Julia gets her up to her feet, maybe to set up a Northern Lights bomb, but Vega catches a boot, gets her with a forearm, and kicks her to the knee. And then goes for a Hurricane Rana destroyer of some sort. And then, Code Red. Is that enough to put Julia away and become new Women's United States Champion? No, Julia kicks out. Julia now needs a breather as she goes to the apron to give herself some time to get a knee in to Zelina Vega. She goes to the top turnbuckle, but she gets immediately put back down in the ring by Vega. Now Vega calling up onto her feet for maybe a Code Red, but she catches the boot and is now in the ground and pound position with some forearms to the chest. She then backs up into the corner for an Ari Diverci, which is a knee said in Japanese. She then calls her up onto her feet. This time, she gets the Northern Lights bomb perfectly, and that's done as she puts Zelina Vega away and retains her Women's United States Championship. Next up is another championship match, but it's not just a regular championship match, it might be a retirement match, because if Gunther defeats Goldberg, Goldberg will be retired. But if Goldberg beats Gunther, his career goes on, and he will become new World Heavyweight Champion. But we're gonna have to figure that out in this match, as Gunther immediately going for some chops and Goldberg is calling for more. This is all a plan because Goldberg is setting up a super kick to Gunther that put the same exact super kick that put Bret Hart's career to an end. This now starts off the finisher fest that we all know from Goldberg's match. It's just a typical Goldberg match. He goes for a jackhammer, but Gunther gets out of it and gets Goldberg for a chop block to the 58-year-old man. He goes for a maneuver to the ribs, but Goldberg gets out of it with some elbows and then a massive spear. Goldberg might end things quickly right now like he did to many other opponents in his career. But no, Gunther is not like these other opponents. He kicks out at the last possible second. Goldberg launches him off the ropes for a spear, but Gunther counters it into a DDT and then gets Goldberg with a massive powerbomb. But Goldberg kicks out at 2.9 seconds. Gunther immediately goes for yet another powerbomb, but then locks him up in a chokehold right after it. Is Gunther going to put Goldberg to sleep just like that and end his career? No, Goldberg is not going to end his career to end like that. He gets out of it with some elbows to the face of Gunther, launches off the ropes, and launches a massive spear to Gunther. He then picks him up onto his feet to pick him up yet again, this time around with his strength and pure power for a jackhammer. Goldberg is gonna do it. He's gonna become new World Heavyweight Champion. No! Gunther at the last second adds the last bit of gas in the tank to kick out. Goldberg going for a chokeslam, but Gunther gets out of an elbow and then a vicious clothesline. Gunther then has Goldberg on the top turnbuckle for an avalanche power bomb. And then Gunther goes for the cover as the referee counts to 3 as he has just retained his World Heavyweight Championship and retired Bill Goldberg.